What is up, guys? It's Luis Fausto, and I'm back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I almost spent $80,000 at Starbucks. I'll explain to you an experience that I endured back in 2017, and if you watch till the end, I'll actually show you how much I actually spent. So that being said, I hope you get comfortable, get ready for some life-changing information, and let's get right to it. Now, as I mentioned, in this video, I'll be talking about how I almost spent $80,000. And I know you probably have some pondering thoughts right off the bat. But I kind of just wanted to express the learning that I've been doing on the financial side. I have been into a lot of financial reading, so I've been reading a lot of books about excelling in your finances and becoming financially free, right? So in that sense, or for those reasons, I actually want to talk about how I almost spent $80,000 at Starbucks. Now, I know what you're thinking. Luis, you don't even have $80,000 because you already know that you're a broke boy. Because you're a broke boy, Luis. You can't sing, you can't take control of your money because you're a what? You're a broke boy. And although that may be true, I am a broke boy, you cannot stop me from learning. But all jokes aside, just to clear some stuff up, I probably have touched $80,000, but I've never saved $80,000, and that's the problem. For those reasons, this is exactly why I wanted to do this video and talk about some concepts that I learned. So that leads me to the concept we're going to be talking about today, and I got it from this book right here. Some of you might read it. Some of you have. Again, I can't speak English for some reason. All this reading really doesn't do me any good. As I was trying to say, many of you have probably heard of this book. It's called The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his last name. Respect to him if I'm not. There's a really cool concept that I'm going to introduce to you today. And like I said, you've already probably heard it. And it's called the Latte Factor. I got my paper, so I'll be kind of in and out some notes here. What is the Latte Factor? So according to David Bach in The Automatic Millionaire, the Latte Factor is pretty much a spending habit that, if not eliminated or if it slips out of your awareness, it will lead to a spiral of stress, financial stress. Everyone has one. As you can tell, it has latte in there. So you can see how clearly how this resonates with me due to the fact that I spent $80,000 or could have spent $80,000 at Starbucks. That's exactly why it just stood out to me when I can't speak. I don't know why, but that is why this is why it stood out to me when reading this book. As you can see, I cannot speak proper English, so maybe if I pretend like I'm speaking proper English, it'll allow me to speak. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that stood out to me. Now, like I said, everyone has one. So now I'm gonna need my notes for this one. I'll be looking at the camera, and I'll be, there's gonna be some editing here, and you'll be able to see. I don't know, over here, maybe over there, over here. There's gonna be some math on there, so. Why is this important? Like I said, everyone has one, whether it's, coffee. Another one is haircuts. Maybe you get your nails and hair did, you know what I'm saying?
Ah, shit. You're here. You look so pretty.
Maybe you're into the shoe seeing. You buy new sneaker drops all the time. Now, I want to use a haircut example mentioned, right? Let's create an imaginary friend. His name's going to be Roger. He's 24 years old, and he likes to get haircuts every Friday. Not to mention, he has never missed a haircut in the last 3 years. His 3 p.m. appointment is locked in and permanently stamped in his barber's agenda. This is where the quick math is going to come up. Let's say his haircut costs him $30. Let's input that. Now, Roger's very generous. He likes to give a $5 tip every time he gets a haircut. So that's $35 a week, okay? So let's suppose he does that every month. There's 4 weeks in a month. He ends up spending $140 a month on this haircut. A year, let's input that, he will spend $1,680. That means that in the last 3 years, he has spent a little bit over $5,000. That's crazy because, if you're getting a trim and looking like Edgar over here for $5K in the last 3 years, it just gets me thinking. I should have really became a barber because you know what? These guys are banking. Like, shout out to my boy OD. Shout out to all my barber friends out in San Jose. Man, you guys got to put me on, man, because $5K in 3 years and that's just one client. I want to see your guys' financial income statements, you know what I'm saying? So, but let's get back to the example. He is 24, right? Let's continue. He continues this process, this habit, up until he's 37 years old. I use that number, and don't judge me here, but let's suppose he's married and he doesn't really care about getting that Edgar haircut since his wife loves him in his natural hairy state, right? That's 13 years. That is 13 years from the age of 24 to the age of 37. In those 13 years, if he continues to go every Friday and gives his barber a $5 tip, he would have spent $65,520. That is insane. Insane. $65K on a haircut. Yes, I am an avid advocate to looking good, as you can tell. I mean, that's a lot of money. I spent that money on haircuts. I mean, I used to get a haircut every week. I had to cut it down, but that's insane. I know what you're probably thinking. Either you don't really care about the 65K increment. You're probably thinking, I don't even get haircuts that often. Or you probably don't think $30 is an expensive haircut. Whatever the case, whatever thoughts you're pondering on, that's awesome. The point I wanted to present here is that sometimes we spend so much money on things that we don't realize that we're spending on, and that we could simply sacrifice. We could really sacrifice some of these things. And I'm not saying eliminate the haircuts. I'm saying maybe you could just cut them in half. Go every 2 weeks. Go every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks, whatever. Challenge yourself to a little hairy endeavor, a journey down a hairy lane, and grow out your hair for once or something. But regardless, it's just some things that we kind of disregard when we're looking at our finances. I'm not saying for him to stop getting haircuts, but if he cut this in half and invested it into something called like a Roth IRA. Now, a Roth IRA, in simple terms, is a retirement account that you can open, but you have to be making less than $124K a year, and you can only invest up to $6K a year. However, the really cool thing about Roth IRAs is that you don't get taxed when you pull it out, right? And also the cool thing that you average between 7 to 10% annual return. What does that mean? That means that every year, that money, whatever money, depending on how diversified your portfolio is, because you will invest this money. Let's suppose you put $6K into a Roth IRA. You'll put it into these things called pies, and you diversify that portfolio. It'll go into the market. It works for you. Whatever. Someone digitally could do it to you for you, or a financial advisor. The point being is that let's suppose you're on a 7% return. Let's suppose you invest those $6K. You get 7% on top of that each year. So just to paint a picture, let's suppose he Roger over here cuts the haircuts in half, right? He therefore, some more math over here. I don't know. I think it's going to be over here or over there. 65K divided by 2, he'll be saving $32,000, right? Let's suppose he invests the max, 6K into Roth IRA, and the return rate is 7%. So that means he will gain $4,200 on top of his $6,000 investment, making $10,200 a year. Now, times that by the 13 years that he would have spent doing those haircuts every week, he would make $132.6K by the time he turns 37. Now, let me tell you, that sounds amazing. In 13 years, some money gets to work for me? All because I don't want to look like Edgar once a week? I mean, that's a pretty cool deal, if you ask me. That's amazing. Now, I hope that brings some light and some perspective. Now, I want to close this off by sharing my Starbucks spending, and how I could have spent $80K on Starbucks. I just want to ask, let's say you were in Roger's shoes. Would you cut the haircuts in half and get $132.6K in return? That sounds like a good deal. I would take it. However, if you would ask me that in 2017, I wouldn't have taken it. Not because I didn't choose to or wouldn't. But you could have probably presented this to me and probably still be like, nah, I won't take it. Not because I did not want to. It's simply because I was unaware of these hacks or these tips or seeking this information, because at the time, as I mentioned, I was really bad with my money. I've gotten to a point in my life where I became a father. I became a provider, right? I've become a little bit more aware of what direction I want to go into. I've become aware that I don't want to work for the rest of I'll be working in the back end, but I want to be less busier. You know what I mean? So that means I want some money to work for me. So that being said, although I don't personally like Starbucks, I found myself consuming it each day we were there. So just to give you some context, back in 2017, me and the team, we would spend a lot of time at Starbucks, at least 5 days a week, guaranteed, for a very long time. And there's a time where we had an agency. We would build websites, create ads. We had Shopify accounts, selling e-commerce. Very fun time, a very cool learning time. And we became a lot closer. We were there all the time, and I found myself consuming this coffee. Can't express it enough. I had to get the chorizo sandwich to accompany my overpriced medium roast. Some more math for you, just to see how much I spent. My coffee, let's say, it cost $3.25, plus the breakfast sandwich is $8.25. Or sorry, my breakfast sandwich was $5. I was spending $8.25 a day. Times that by the 5 days I was there, I was spending at least $41.25 a week. Times that by a year, I was spending at least $2,000 on Starbucks. On Starbucks that I personally don't like, on Starbucks that I could have made at home, on Starbucks that did not have to be Starbucks. I didn't have to drink coffee, but I found myself being there. That's the power of branding, by the way. I'm playing a little scenario. I plan to drink coffee for a very long time unless some health issue occurs. Maybe I have to go to the doctors and they say I can't consume too much caffeine. But let's say I'm going to drink it up until I'm 60 years old, right? Let's take those $2,000 and times it by 0.7, that return, right? Let's suppose I invested this in a Roth IRA. Let's times it by that 0.7. I would make $1,501 with 50 cents plus my initial investment. I would make $3.6 thousand a year with that investment. Now, that's 39 years from the age I'm 24 now, and I'm going back to, let's suppose I stopped doing this when I was 60. That's 39 years. You times those 3.6 thousand, I would make $142,000 without breaking a sweat by simply eliminating that Starbucks coffee. And I'm telling you, that is some bank that you don't necessarily have to work so damn hard for. You just have to do some investments each month, which is very doable. But, you know, I just think I'm baffled. I'm baffled that I barely found this out. And I'm only 24. If I would have found this out in 2017, man, I would probably have some nice chunk of money sitting there working for me. Not just sitting there, but working for me. So, you know, that being said, that's exactly why I could have spent over $80,000 on coffee. You know, I'm exaggerating a little bit. However, it makes sense because we could have spent that money instead of that money working for us. So I hope you find some value in this. Again, I'm no expert. I'm no Warren Buffett. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an avid seeker of knowledge. I like to share my personal experiences and in hopes of helping you. If you do watch this, I appreciate you. But in hopes of just spreading this knowledge to you and learn together. If you have any questions, if you guys really like this video, let me know. And I'll see you in the next one. And as always, it's all love from my end. And keep striving, guys.